We are live. We are live. We are live. And we are just waiting for Miss Anna from Horse Right to join us. So hold on and bear with us just for a minute as we get into our live. Very good. Let's do it. Us from Horse Live. Right now she's in Germany, but she also resides in Ohio. She is an equestrian. And Anna, how long have you been riding?
Hi, I've been riding since I was a child, little baby. Grew up with my grandma, so she was a
I
huge
love
influence. Yeah.
I love when grandma, actually that's how I got into riding too, is we couldn't quite always afford it. And so luckily I had my grandma and she helped me get my first pony. It was a POA little jumper. And then I also had got my quarter horse, the love of my life, Fancy. And for those of you who know or don't know, she's been passed away for 2 years. But we always have that special heart that has captured a place that, it's just that horse that is part of me forever.
For sure. I
But
I had a POA. I just had to say this as well, Patches, and he's still alive. He is 30, and he's in Ohio, full retirement, but yeah, so special place there.
I know POAs, they're fun.
Yeah.
They teach you how to ride, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
love that. I know that we have that in common. So thank you so much for sharing. Do you want to walk us in to what we are talking about today as far as visualization and goal setting?
Absolutely. So it's the last week of January, which is mind-blowing, but it's been so much fun. And so this week we're really about the power of visualizing. And in terms of, thinking about your goals or really your ideal, like again, like you can have fun with this, what your ideal state and feeling would be. So we're just going to walk through a bit of tips of how to do that, the power of it, and it's going to be fun.
I love that. And with it being the last week of January, it's the last week of our new year, new goals giveaway, which has been so much fun. Seeing everyone enter and all their journal prompts that they've been sharing on stories. And thank you. My necklace is actually EQL. Sorry, I'm reading a comment. I get so excited, like sidetracked like a squirrel. But I'm actually wearing all EQL, which is our sister brand. So it's EQL by Carrots. So my flex sweater and also necklace is EQL. So EQL by Carrots. We'll make sure we link that in the bottom of this when we publish it. But yeah, we're talking about new year, new gear, new goals. That's been the theme for not only Horse Right, who's joining us today, but also for Noelle Floyd. That's been a huge topic for them. Charles Owen, who's part of the giveaway as well, and also Equifit. So thank you for everyone, all these amazing brands that have been involved with us to try to get people closer to their goals. But I want to hear from you, Anna, before we get into the visualization part. What does new year, new gear, new goals mean to you?
It's the whole package, quite frankly, and package of how we can set the new year off and the new year, but also every day with who we are. And a lot of this we've seen is mindset work and goal setting. But it's also our gear that of course, that we choose to like put on, and especially as riders, right? It's unique, right? It can be unique what we wear, and it's just the whole package. So I feel good when I like wake up in the day, I put on something I think I look great in and I feel good in as well. But then it all comes together. It's our mindset inside, right? How we feel, but also what we choose to do, what we put on.
Exactly. And I think a huge part of, sometimes there's imposter syndrome that comes up, and that could be a whole episode of us talking about that itself. But sometimes when you have that gear and it makes you feel good, you show up with confidence to the barn. And there's something about feeling your best. It's not about always like looking your best. Like we have this
Yeah.
idea of your best, but it's just like providing for yourself. And when we don't have to worry about our clothes and our gear, we can focus on the relationship with our horse. And I think that's so much about what Carrots is about is, we might not be the most fashion forward brand, but we are delivering function. And I think when we talk about goals, like our goal as a brand and designers is we want to bring people clothes that gets people to focus on the relationship with their horse. Because, you know, whether you're pulling the pants if you have a wedgie or something, like we just want you to focus, whether it's hot or cold. Like we want to provide clothes that really gets you to focus with your horse and not get distracted. But talking about not getting distracted as I go on a tangent, but let's talk about using our imagination and using visualization techniques to get us closer to our equestrian goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I love this topic. I think it's such a powerful tool if you can visualize, and sometimes it can be hard even like to get started of how, right? If you're not used to doing it, or maybe you're just starting. But the outcome of it is that you really want to focus on that emotion of what the outcome is. So if you're visualizing like well, for instance, I've seen a lot of like really fun and very like amazing goals come in when you guys are sharing answers to the prompt. And some are like, I'm, you know, in the future, I'm going to be confident. I'm going to have a great relationship with my horse. And I'm like, these are things you can start doing now. Like, you don't have to visualize in the future. So some things, when you think big picture, you know, maybe you could break that visualization up. If it's like very, you know, physical things, like I'm going to own a barn, I'm going to own a house, that's wonderful. You know, you can put in a plan to do it. But if you're going to think like, I'm going to be nice to myself, start doing that now. So it can kind of give you a nice little, you know, also measure. But if you like for when I started just to try to visualize more, even today, like last night, I needed just like a bit of time for myself. And so I was like done working, closed things up. And I just took like 10 minutes, sat down, lit a candle. It was a quiet space and just focused on the positives, right, of what my future could be. And so just like taking a few, you know, just some time for yourself. I know we've talked about the past few weeks as well, if you schedule time. So that's something that's been very helpful for me. And it's, you feel great and you can have fun with it because you're just see yourself like living the future you want, right?
Exactly. And I feel like some people that help me visualize my further goals is I love following accounts like Brandon Nobles and also My Equestrian Style, Erin Lane, even Blue Jet, the Posh Equestrian. I could keep
Yeah.
naming more. And um, those are people to, I feel like it's important with visualization is having people within your community that help you dream big and that you can see that they're visualizing their goals as well and they're like sharing
Yeah.
it time. But how do you even get started with visualization? Like you talked about setting the scene for yourself with a candle. Do you have any like other techniques for us as far as like visualization and equestrian setting goals?
Yeah. So one, I think it's important. So like you mentioned, you know, I do like looking at other people, you know, accounts or having that support. Um, but your goals are yours, right? And so you need to be very like comfortable with yourself, right? We get so it's so easy to compare, think, oh, I'm not doing enough.
Mhm.
And I have to do constant reminders because sometimes I'll visualize and maybe it's not all like I get weighed down because I think, how's this gonna happen? So I go back to let's try to take away the anxieties to it, right? Just really focus on that outcome. So like real like tips to it, it can be very individual. And I think like the tip is like you have to know, you know, what works for you, like how you can think through things. For me, if I have a lot going on in my head, I have to like I write it down. I write down all these tasks that I need to do. And when that's done, I can then really focus on all of the great, you know, things and visualize, you know, a really fun and positive goal.
Yeah. And we, and that's so totally true. And when I think of like drawing inspiration, I definitely separate it from comparison. Like I try not to compare my life. It's completely different. The stages that I'm in, the relationships I've had with my horse and horses is different than everyone else's. And so it's like cutting comparison out. But we did talk right before this of like once you start visualizing, once you get into that space that's comfy and comfortable and you start doing that work as far as like what does that look like for me? What does it feel like? Which you were talking a lot about is what does it feel like, and just like drawing from, places in your body of like, that, so owning my dream property and having my horse, do XYZ. This is what it's going to feel like. And, even drawing of like, what does it feel like for your horse? Like, what does it feel like on your horse when you
Mhm.
want that flying lead change? But can you walk us through like intrusive thoughts, or like, you mentioned watching your thoughts. Like, what does that mean?
Mhm. Yeah, and I love that. And what you just brought up also is a good um, example and answer. But so if you think, okay, I'm gonna think in the future, I own my barn, I own my house, I have this many horses, and what does it feel like? When you feel that, like microsecond, even if it just starts as that, and it's great, like you can start trying to replicate that now, like, right, that same feeling, because you already felt it and you can start living it. But I think when we get intrusive thoughts, like it they happen, right? You're not, it's normal. Like I get them all the time. That's why I just go to like my journal and I write down what they are, because it just helps me offset. So it's almost like pro con, right? And always the pro in the sense is going to be way, way higher of a scale.
Totally. And and to piggyback on that is when I start to visualize and picture my goals, and especially when I was showing a lot and thoughts would come up of like, oh my gosh, can I do this? Can my horse do this? Bunch of thoughts would come up, and my technique is to picture them like bubbles and then pop them. And so,
Uh,
yeah, and I watch them dissipate, and it's kind of like happy. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to worry about that. I don't need to worry about the show,
yeah.
nerve and this happening and my horse running off. Or she did that when she was in a testing phase. But I imagine all these things, and I go pop, 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 and then I watch them just,
That's so
dissipate.
cool. Yeah,
So
I love that. And that should be a key takeaway for the group here. Pop those nasty thoughts out. They're not serving you right now. And this is something I know a lot of riders do, or really a lot of like top Olympic athletes, is before they go into a competition, they really like envision themselves performing everything, right? Doing the whole routine exactly as they practice or exactly as they want. And I know, like, from an athletic level, right, or even as a rider, it can also be very useful to do that, even if you're just, going in for a lesson or you're practicing on your own, is just really visualize how you want it to go, how it's going to turn out. And I love doing that as well, because it can just like put you in a good mood set before. Because you're like, I know what I want. It's okay, maybe if it doesn't work out, but I've set an intention there.
exactly. Can you walk us through kind of watching your thoughts and how they become words, and watching your words like,
Oh,
oh,
I love that. So that it's actually a quote. I think it's been quoted by quite a few people. So I'll just read you all the quote. Um, I'm sure you've heard it, but as you know, like in my account, I love quotes. I really, ever since I was a young girl, I just love quotes. I think they can be very influential. Um, but here it is. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. And watch your actions, they become your habits. And your habits become your character, and your character becomes your reality, right? Your destiny. And so I just think that thought, like, right, so what you say turns into what you do. What you do, you may start repeatedly do, and then that's going to become like who you are. So
yeah.
if we can start really at any point of what you're doing, right, what you say, and then what you start thinking about, it can help, shape your future.
I love that. What would be, so working on visualization, there I hear you keep using the word journaling. I know that's a tool that, and that's also how you created Horse Right, which allows you. There was a question in the comments of, is there a goal setting portion of your journal? There certainly is. There's so many different places to put your goal setting within the journal, with the Horse Right journal. But you have some exciting things in the works, and do you want to kind of share those?
Yeah, I do. So I'm really excited about this. What I am putting out, launching February 1st, is one word a day. It's really as simple as that. It's one word a day that will be shared through email. And this one word can spark whatever you want it to be. So it could be, or really all you need is a pen and paper, but you can sign up to get the one word a day. It's right on my website, on my link in my profile if you go there. But really it's about just instilling a new habit. And I created it personally for myself this year as we looked at the new year. I wanted to just write more. I just wanted to have something where I could get started. And sometimes all it takes is just that one word. So I was like, let's just do it. I want to put it out for you all. You can sign up. It'll be one word a day starting February 1st. You can just write anywhere, write on a napkin, write to us, right here on Instagram. Maybe it'll inspire you to do a post. So I'm excited about it. It's totally free as well. But that's my new project.
I love that. So one word, I definitely want to do that because sometimes with journaling, I look at empty pages and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so I think it's a great way to spark that creativity and get started because when you look at an empty blank page, it can be daunting or even like a long prompt because sometimes like, I don't know, I struggle with perfectionism. So I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. So like at least with that, it just like gets you out there and you know, with you, it always has like a little horse essence to it. So people who are journaling and just
Yeah.
getting thoughts about writing, or if you're new to the sport, or if you're a seasoned veteran, there's just so many things that you can reflect on from your writing. So I love that. So,
Yes. And you don't know what else it could spark for you. So that's the whole point. I'm calling it the leg up. So it'll be a daily leg up word.
I love that. Well, as we wrap up our visualization conversation, is there any major takeaways that you want to leave our audience with?
um, I'm sad that the month is wrapping up because it's been so much fun. I mean, takeaways is think about who you really want to be, right? And have fun with that. And I sympathize that we have so much going on or so many like negative thoughts that come through. We all deal with it. Like you're not alone either in that. But definitely you can still, you know, if you focus, take time, you can really think about how much fun things can be and will be.
Exactly. When you can't reach, say if you're in kind of, you know, a poor mood, it's like, what is the next best thing that you can reach for? Sometimes it's always going to be joy, but what's that next best feeling? And I think with horses, since they are such sensitive, amazing creatures, you know, like what when you're having that day, what can you reach for, especially when you're on that back, so on their back, so you don't leak that energy onto them. And so I always think like, okay, if I was writing right now, even though I'm at my desk, what is the next feeling I can reach for in this
Yeah,
moment? So
bingo.
love
Yeah,
that.
a quick positive visualization can be a quick like mood boost and do just that, right? Just put it in you and can translate to your horse as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for spending time. And we have one more session with you guys. And of course, we might be doing more throughout this year because goal setting doesn't end in January. It's all year long. So we are hoping to do more of these types of things with y'all. So thank you so much, Anna from Horse Right, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jenny from Carrots.
Bye.
Bye.